Hey, hey, hey. Uh, Invite somebody, bring them in the room. Let's talk for a minute. Let's talk for a minute. Just straight up heart to heart, no cameras, no lights, no backdrop, nothing fancy, just conversation heart to heart. I didn't even comb my hair. I went by so my mother could see my face. It was good seeing her today. Let's talk. Invite somebody, share. No microphone, just me and the telephone. Just us. Me, you, and the device that streams. Let's talk. Invite somebody. So Trina, hey. Hey Bishop, you're on late. Yeah, I know, right? Tisha Long, what's up, girl? What's up, Tish? How are you? The kids, the family, how's everything going along? Long time no see. So good to see you on here tonight. Rhonda Oliver say, Bishop, you on late? I got a letter in the mail that my license that I got from the internet to be consecrated as bishop, they're due to expire come December. And to renew them, they want $150. And I'm like, nah, don't worry about it. I'll change the date myself. um, so, I just want to get on tonight. I see a stranger that's on who I've reached out to several times to no avail, and she did not call me back. But it's all love, it's all forgiveness. Tasha West, you're who I'm talking about. Yeah, I called you out. Um, so I have these thoughts that are generated. You know, um, if you've never been close to death or even felt like you were gonna die, then you may not really understand the depth of this conversation. But here recently, I've had some encounters where I was just really a decision away from. Um, it was up to me to live or to die. It was up to me. The power was in my agreement. I'm going to be talking about that Sunday. Um, I kicked off a little series this past Sunday on the power of agreement. And in that series, I just kind of did the groundwork, but I'll start talking about the power of agreement. Love you too, Tosh. Love you too. Answer my calls, okay? Love is an action word. It's a verb, action verb. God so loved the world, he gave. Don't tell me you love me and you ain't giving. Oh, glory. Oof. Rhonda, I hear you. Rhonda Oliver, I hear you. So you have a decision to make. You decide every day how you're going to live. We decide every day where we're going to live, what we're going to do. Desiree Savage, good to have you on. Good evening. Um, we decide where we're going to live, how we're going to live, what we're going to have. So many people want to take the power of they want to take the power of life and give it to God. They want to take the power of death and give it to the devil. And it is so unfortunate to live in that realm of misunderstanding. The devil doesn't have the power to dictate your death, and God doesn't have the power to dictate your life. He gave you a choice. Within your will, you choose. And it's in your choosing that death and life is laid. One passage, it says, choose ye this day whom you're going to serve. It says there's a way that seems right to man, but at the end of that way, at the end of the road, there's destruction. It tells you to choose life. Another passage of scripture says that death and life, it doesn't give the power of life and death to God or the devil. It places the responsibility of life and death in your hands. It says that death and life is in the power of the tongue. They that love it will eat the fruit thereof. In other words, our life is a combination of decisions made, and the decisions that we make are contingent on how we believe and what we say. So the charge of life and death, according to scriptures, if you believe that Bible at all, the charge to live or die rests in the authority. It rests in the authority of your tongue. And a lot of people think that that just means I can speak and say what I want. I can blab it and grab it, call it and haul it, spit it and get it, name it and claim it, speak it and reach it. That's not what that means. If it was just that easy, then the things that you would speak and have spoken, you would have. Now, it does say death and life. It puts death at the forefront. Matter of fact, the power to speak, the power to live abides in what you say, but it puts death in front because it's easier to die than it is to live. Living requires responsibility. When we give up, dying is easy. If you want to die, you can die just like that. But when it comes to life, life is birthed through the disciplines that we project, the disciplines that we create. So when it comes to what we have in life, where we are in life, you can't say that it was God or the devil. Now you can rest on the grace of God, the power of God that has sustained us. At the times you should have been cut off, we should have been dead. God has protected us from danger, in the words of the old people, seen and unseen. So we understand that grace abides to the extent that we give. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. To the same measure of grace you give, you receive. So much of that Bible puts the responsibility on us. So we have to take responsibility for where we are. And in taking responsibility for where we are, it places the responsibility of life and death in your hands. If you don't like where you are, you have the power to change it. If you don't like what you have the power to change it. And when we start accepting responsibility for life, then we can have life. But as long as we pull God into it, pull the devil into it, we never take responsibility, then we avoid the responsibility that God has given us in our will. And in avoiding that responsibility, when we point the blame, cast the blame, never accept responsibility, then we never change. And it's in that moment that we begin to die. The clinical definition for death, to be dead, is unchanged. So many of us equate death to the state where we stop breathing. But death is the absence of life. It is also the subsequence of an unchanged person. When you don't change, you die, because you're now separated from movement. You're separated from progressive motion. So when you stop changing, when you stop becoming better, you become dead to life and set in your way. So when it comes to harmony, purpose, love, and the one for you, you have to be in harmony with what you believe. Yes, we evolve as a people. I believe in evolution, but I do not believe in the theory of Darwinism that explains we come from monkeys. I don't believe in the Big Bang theory. No, I believe Yahweh, God, Yahweh, Elohim. I believe he created us. He made us in his image and after his likeness. He gave within us the power to will, and within the will, we can orchestrate change. We have the power to change where we are, and we have the power to change where we're going. But that power rests in our will, and our will is governed by information. The more information you have, the more power you can have to change. One passage says that my people perish, die, they are separated because of a lack of knowledge. What you don't know can kill you. So you have to accept responsibility for where you are, where you've been. And if you're going to be in a greater place, you're going to do greater things, then you have to own it, accept responsibility for it, and then you have the power to change it. It is said scientifically that Shakaya Top-Notch Whitaker, when I do not see you, I do pray for you, Shakaya, but I miss seeing you, so thanks for joining in on tonight. When it comes to harmony, there has to be a harmony between what you know, your head, what you know is stored up in your brain. It's called knowledge. Knowledge is what you know. But then your heart, when we talk about heart, we're really talking about soul. Heart and soul are synonymous in their meaning. The soul is the part of you that houses your mind, your will, and your emotions, how you think, how you choose, how you feel, how you think, how you choose, how you feel, how you think, how you choose, how you feel. Those things are housed in your heart. So whenever the heart has conviction, the mind has to mentally be in harmony or in agreement with what you believe. If you don't have head and heart harmony, then that creates a war. The war is, how do I get what I've learned to be saturated in my heart? Because once I'm convicted by what I know, I can execute with passion. Passion is birthed through knowledge, through understanding. There is a fuel. Passion becomes the fuel to help usher you into desire, into purpose. So what most people do when they are passionate about something, they pursue what they are passionate of. But that passion is birthed through understanding. Man, when we understand more, we are able to do more because our understanding has been enlightened. Marie Height Pleasant, so good to see you. Thanks for joining us. My cousin is on. He's my cousin by blood, but he's my brother by right. Cleveland, Kelly, man, been thinking about you and praying for you, wondering how's Jasmine doing. Called you a couple of days ago. It went to voicemail, and I know that's due to the area where you are, because I love you, and thanks for joining us tonight. So when it comes to being in harmony, your knowledge has to meet your convictions. The more you know, the more it begins to challenge what you believe. Even when people say, well, the Lord spoke to my spirit, all right? Well, the challenge is to get what God said to your spirit to translate to your heart, and then you've got to convince your mind that what God said is right. The moment that we convince ourselves, there is agreement, there's harmony between our head and our heart, then we can move in the direction that we believe we should go. So many people are in war with themselves right now because what they know does not measure with what they believe. They believe they should be further in life. They believe they should have more in life. They believe they should have better in life. But just because you say you believe it doesn't mean you know it. We execute what we know. We ponder what we believe. We execute what we know. We ponder what we believe. Knowing is not knowing until the action of knowledge has been infiltrated in action. The moment we put action to what we know, we exercise what we believe. So belief is the language of what we know. I know as a black man, I'm at a disadvantage, but I don't live by the standard of my disadvantage because I believe that I have a higher resource of power and opportunity that's been made available for me because I am a king's kid. And because I am a king's kid, because I have been adopted in the royal family, because I believe that Yahweh is God, and I believe that Yahweh Elohim created me, I don't believe that I should live by the measurements that have been dictated by my society, but I live based on the conviction of my belief and the core of me, the heart of me, the lamb of me, that part of me that is genuine, the part of me that people don't see has been anchored in Elohim. And as long as God tells me I can, I will. As long as God tells me I am, I will be. And sometimes when God says you are, it takes a while for what's been translated in your spirit to communicate to your heart and your mind. It takes a while for you to be convinced of what he said. But the moment that there is conviction and belief in what he said, you will begin to do. We put action to the things we believe. It's not belief if there's no activity. Because the clinical definition of dead is unchanged. So if you are unchanged, you are moving, you're not progressing, according to science, you're dead. So the moment that I believe what I've been persuaded by, wherever my convictions are, I move off that knowledge. Now, a lot of times we can move off of our ignorance. Ignorance is not a dirty word. It's not a bad word. It's just the absence of knowledge. So we move at the realm of our understanding. When we move at the realm of our understanding, then we're governed by what we know. We can't know more than what we know. This is why we have to stay open to be taught. This is why we have to watch our company, the people that are around us. We have to govern what goes into our ear, because whatever gets in your ear, it will bleed into your heart. Whatever gets in your heart literally becomes the substratum. It becomes the foundation of how you build. So you got to make sure you're hearing the right things, because your hearing, your understanding affects your belief. So when it comes down to head and heart, they have to be in harmony together. What I know has to measure up with what I believe. The moment that my head and my heart are in harmony together and I am convicted, then I begin to move differently. I begin to move based on what I believe. And moving based on what I believe, my belief will always triumph over my trouble. I believe that. I don't believe, listen, with all this stuff going on in the world, they killing us, they hate us. America was not made for black people, African Americans. If you're in America and you don't have God on your side, or there is not something that you can align with in your heart that says you're going to have a better opportunity, a better choice, in spite of the hand that America has dealt you, if you don't have anything to latch what you believe to, you will wander in circles and you will become what society says you are. And I refuse to believe that way. So I'm always seeking a higher level of understanding. I'm always reading. I'm always learning. The constant thing in life for me is to continue to evolve evolve, and learn. Learning has to be the principal key, because the moment you get set in what you know, you're saying you're set in what you know. There are some things that we have to be solid on. We have to be anchored in as it relates to what we know. But in knowing that, we have to add to what we know in order to get our heart and our action to be in harmony together so we can execute. It's a lot of people believe they're great. We hear it all the time, how great you are, and you're going to do this and you're going to do that, but it doesn't constitute action. What constitutes or institutes action is when you know what you've been convicted by, and it prompts you or give you passion to execute. It's an execution that you facilitate what you know. Till you put action to it, you really don't believe it. You've mentally ascended to it. You've caused your mind to hear it or view it, but until you execute it, I don't believe you believe it. So there has to be harmony. There has to be heart and head harmony. You've got to be one with yourself. There is so much, and there's two sides of this thing. There are so many things that we have to grow in. We have to grow in knowledge. We have to grow in understanding. We have to continue to get to know ourselves. And in Christendom, they don't teach self-awareness because they believe that self-awareness robs you of godly identity. If you were to get to know yourself, become one with yourself, somehow that dismisses Yahweh, the creator, from his existence being in your life. And if he's in your life, you should give him the credit for anything. But they got it backwards, because Elohim gave us the power to know. In fact, one scripture says, if any man comes to God, he must believe that he is, and he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. But before you get to God, you got to come past you, because you have to believe that you have in you those things that qualifies you to get to him. So if I'm going to get to him, it's going to come through me. It comes through the filtering of my understanding. It comes through what I believe, what I've learned in my head. Once it's in harmony with my heart, once I believe that I am who he's created me to be, and I can do what he said I could do, then it gives me the release or the permission to be able to come to him and request what I'm in need of, or what I'm hoping for. And so that there has to be this self-awareness. You've got to be one with yourself. You can't be torn between so many opinions that your opinions keep you from moving and executing what you say you believe. Once you have head and heart harmony, then you can move, and in your movement now, if you stay open and stay a student and never arrive, that movement becomes progressive, and it's progressive movement that takes you beyond where you are to the place that you're believing to be. Scientifically, it's been proven that 85% of our thoughts, or 85% of our mind, is focused on, concentrated on, or around the past experiences. The reason people don't execute is the last time they tried it, they failed. The reason people don't execute, somebody told them they weren't worthy. Somebody told them they couldn't do it. So when we meditate on things that have been said to us, and that becomes our center of attention as it relates to how we regulate thought, it's in that meditation of the past, keeping our mind locked in the past, locked on what was done, bad experiences, abuse, misinformation, bad teaching, control, manipulation. When our mind is locked there, it hinders us in our present from thinking progressively in our future. So what hinders us from moving forward and having progressive movement, it's not the devil or God, it's your mind centered on the past. Whatever you think on, you will become. So here's what begins to happen. Because 85% of our mind is on something that has happened, the echo of the past now becomes the steering wheel for our present, and it controls where we go in our future. So if you're going to go further than where you are, you got to undo how you think and retrain your mind to focus on not what was said, not what was happened, not my past, not I'm not this, not I'm not that, but I've got to give myself new thoughts. I've got to give myself new impartations. I've got to think on things that are healthy for my mind, so that I can execute what I believe. But as long as you think in the past, let me tell you what your past does to you. It reconnects you to the emotions that happened a long time ago. This is why I experience it. I experience it all the time. If I'm not careful, my mind will take me into places of the past, and I relive those same emotions like it just happened. So you have to separate yourself from unhealthy experiences that is causing you to become stagnant with where you are. You focus on the people who have died, the same emotion that hit you when you learned of their death will revisit you, because that's where your mind is. Your mind doesn't know that it happened 20, 15, whatever years ago. Your mind doesn't understand past, present, and future. Everything in your mind operates in the now. Memory tells you when to date it, but the mind doesn't understand that it's the past. For the mind, everything that you think on is in the now. So you have to get away from your past by saturating your present with future objectives. This is why you ought to think more about where you're going and use where you've been as wisdom to create the strength that is necessary to overcome the obstacles in your present so you can leap and be progressive in your future. To every experience, there's a connected emotion. There's an emotion that is attached to everything that you go through. And this is why you could be listening to a song, and particularly a song maybe that reminds you of a special someone. The song reminds you, yeah, I remember and you begin to reminisce, you begin to think, because that song triggered a thought, and that thought triggered an emotion. There's an emotion that is assigned to every experience. So whatever you think will control how you feel, and we generally move and navigate our present based on the feelings of our emotions in that moment. So as long as you are rekindling, you are rehearsing, you are reliving past experiences, you rob yourself of future goals because your mind is meditating on yesterday. And when you're meditating on yesterday, you disable the hope of the present. Well, it's the hope of the present that presents futuristic goals. So if you want to thrive and be better, you've got to dismantle your past. You've got to stop giving your past permission to dwell in your mind. And the first thing we think when we get up, we think about what we have to do. Watch how your mind goes and remind you of what you didn't do. So we move and we act off of fears from the past, off of words from the past, and those expressions and experiences trigger certain emotions. Those emotions now are present in our present tense. The emotions become present in our present tense. And now we have to either shake off the emotional state of where we are in order to move forward, or we have to retrain our mind to focus on the future. Whatever you think, you're going to become. Your life is the fruit of a combination of thoughts. So there has to be head and heart harmony. There has to be education. There has to be understanding that goes beyond what you understand. And this is why you've got to have the right people saying the right stuff to you. If you always got people around you that remind you of the past and you will rehearse the past, you need people to be able to speak into your now about what's going to be. And that ain't spiritual. That's something you got the power to do. You got to stop giving yourself excuses of blaming the devil. The devil. I never understood. I have a problem with America's Christianity. I have a hard time processing this Western definition of Christianity. Now, this Western hemisphere, I can use that, this geographical understanding that only resides in America. Y'all say God has all power, right? And you say that God lives in you. He has all power. He lives in you. So if he lives in you and he has all power, then all the power that you need is in you too. Why you don't believe it? Because you're rehearsing the past. You're rehearsing the past. And we give ourselves a way out by bypassing truths that have been planted in our soul. We have to bypass those truths. We have to consciously dismiss the truth that has been layered in us subconsciously. You know right from wrong before you get here. It's in you. And in order to do something wrong, you have to bypass that information, that trinket in your soul. You generally bypass it through compromise and twisting or manipulating the truth that is in your soul. Once that truth has been manipulated, you've created a new truth for yourself, and your soul is removed from the real truth. And when your soul has been removed from the real truth because it's been manipulated by your mind to bypass it, that's through the compromise, and it's in that compromise that your soul gets away from truth. So now when you hear truth, you don't recognize it because you've been lying to yourself for so long. You become, you have to go back and undo that. You can't build on top of that lie. You know, all of it. I've been there where I've lied to myself and created a mistruth, and it became my truth, and I tried to justify. No, you can't grow that way. You've got to go back. You got to dig up where you missed it. Dig up, and you got to reprocess what was planted, dig them roots out so that you can have an ear for truth. This is why America can't hear the only thing black people want is what's right. America can't hear that because for over 400, 500 years, America has painted and wrote their own truth. Even though they built that Constitution, they wrote that Constitution. The premises of the Constitution is based on the Bible. The foundation is based on the Bible. Everything in that law is in that Bible just about. Okay, they say all men are created equal. And after they got through writing the Constitution saying all men were created equal, they went home to their slaves. Right after they told you and wrote in that Constitution that every man has a right to choose, they went home to slaves that they had robbed of their choices. So just because you can write it and quote it don't mean that it's in you. We only see what's in you by what you execute. There are some people, they're never going to grow beyond where they are. And you've got to accept that and be okay. And for all you people you call to heal people and fix people, most of the people you think you're going to heal and you ain't going to fix, they're not going to change. They're not going to change. That's not a bad confession. This is not me being negative. No, everybody's supposed to change. You're supposed to keep hoping. You're supposed to keep praying for them. Prayer don't change everything. Because if prayer was the key to fixing the problems of our world, nobody would be sick. It ain't prayer. We want to put the responsibility on prayer because it dismisses the responsibility that I'm supposed to take and the action that I'm supposed to take in the earth. So instead of me doing my part, I'm going to just pray for y'all. I'm just pray. Prayer don't fix it. Y'all don't believe me? Look at the stuff that you prayed for. How many of you got it? It's prayer and faith when they are working hand in hand, and the person that's believing and praying is also executing. That is what causes results to come. You can pray all day. America been praying for us. We got white preachers praying for us, black people praying, everybody praying for us. If freedom came through the power of prayer, we would be free. Now, I know I'm messing with y'all sacred cows because y'all were taught that prayer is everything and the word is everything, and all you got to do is speak the word and pray. Well, you can speak that word and pray. There was a man who just got released after being in jail, incarcerated 44 years because he's black. Well, if prayer and the word was the answer, why is he just not getting freedom? Well, you got to believe. You got to believe. No, you're fighting an uphill battle. You're going against the currents. It's more to it than just prayer and believing. It's more to it than just quoting scriptures. If scriptures could fix stuff, we'd be fixed. No, action has to be taken. So the same men that wrote your Constitution lived totally oblivious to what they were writing. And now that we're in a time where we are raising the right questions about systemic racism, we're raising the right question as it relates to how can this be? They want to muzzle our mouth because they don't want to hear truth. They can't hear truth. So they're going to justify. I was reading some of the comments on social media about Trump and how at the RNC, the Republican National Convention, that Jesus was unequivocally being raised. And it was so, these are Western American Christians. I don't want to be associated with y'all. There are too many fallacies, too many holes in your belief. Most Western Christians, they can quote and argue doctrine, but they can't tell you why they believe what they believe. And that same Bible that y'all read, the God so loved the world, also the same writer said, give a defense as it relates to the faith concerning you. You should be able to defend what you believe. But they raising Jesus and they talking and they praying and they got their white evangelicals and they singing Kumbaya and Amazing Grace, and Donald Trump is over at the side like he's all. And on the post, the young lady raised, no matter the intent, at least Jesus is being glorified. And I began to immediately think, how? How? Is it just in words? Because it ain't in actions. It's not about just uplifting the name of Jesus. It's also about raising a lifestyle that is befitting for the cause in which he died. And if you're not going to echo what you believe in your life, you don't believe. So whenever you raise his name, and there is no foundation of strength of action that mirrors what you say, you're a hypocrite and you're a liar. So you calling his name is an embarrassment to those that really believe. Because the foundational principle of all belief as it relates to this God, this Bible, is love, right? What it was, 1 Corinthians 13. Do I speak with tongues of men and angels, but I don't have charity? It's tinkling brass and sound and cymbal. And in 1 Corinthians 13 just walks you through what charity is. It tells you what charity does. It identifies love. It identifies the ingredients of love. It identifies the action of love. And it identifies the subject of love, what it does, who it is, and how it should be carried. So if your actions doesn't mirror your speech, you put the name to shame. You got to be in harmony with what you believe. And the moment you find a part of yourself that is not in harmony, conviction should take place. And you should readily run to the part of you that is not in harmony and fix it. Work it out. When I played football, they wanted me top heavy. So in my trainings, they worked on the top. When I played basketball, they wanted me, really, it was legs and arms. And because of my height when I played basketball in high school, they worked on different parts of my body. Both of them are sports, football and basketball, but the area that needed the attention in basketball wasn't the same area in football. So the areas where I was weak in either sport is the area that got the most focus. And we have to focus on the areas of us that is not in harmony with what we say we believe. So there has to be harmony. There has to be a oneness and a wholeness of self. I had a friend, I had a homeboy. When I say that boy is in harmony with him, I want to call his name, but I don't want to put him on. But that Negro is in harmony with whatever he believes. That's what he's going. Now, if he's wrong, he will listen to you. But he's going to do what he believes. I can respect a man that operates based on his conviction and grows as he grows in knowledge than I can somebody who says one thing and does another. And that's what America has done. So you have to have harmony within yourself. Now, as it relates to purpose, because what I put that I was going to talk about harmony, purpose, love, and the one for you. If I don't get through it tonight, I'll finish it later. But as it relates to purpose, once you become one with yourself, then you can pursue those things that are within you. You know, we call them bright ideas, or I got an idea. But what drives you leads you to what you should be doing. Man, let me tell you something. When it comes to thinking, writing, reading, understanding, I'm a nerd. You give me somebody that's talking good and they can explain their point, even if I don't agree with them or their point, they have my attention. Because they're not just offering you words, they're also giving you process on how the words have been digested or ingested. They are explaining their point. One of the things that happened in school, I never forget, in Algebra 2, even in algebra, my teacher was not concerned about my answer. They were more concerned with the process on how I got my answer. So even though I gave the right answer, if I could not explain the process, they would say, you got the answer wrong. Because the answer is not just good in fruit. You got to explain that root. And your inability to explain what you believe makes me question the hope that you say you have. You can't explain it. So we have to take position of becoming one with self, becoming whole with self. If we're going to get to God, it has to come through us. You got to believe you can get there. Before God even come on the scene, you got to believe you can get to him. And that comes from understanding who you are, self-identification, self-wholeness, self-oneness. Now, moving into purpose, purpose is the thing that you've been designed to do. And there are other people that does something similar. There may be other people who does something in the same proximity, but nobody can do what you were designed to do because you were cut for your assignment. Wes, what's up, bro? So sorry I didn't get a chance to listen to your show tonight. I'm going to catch the replay. I had a couple of Zoom calls that were already on the schedule that I had to check out. But before, your purpose is tailored, designed for you. There is something only you have the DNA for. There's something only you're wired to do. So what happens to most of us is we start comparing what we do to other people, and then we like what they're doing. We become infatuated with what they're doing and how they're doing until we dismiss or abort what we're called to do to become one with them and what they're doing. And we totally ignore what we were purposed for. Can't abort you because you like what somebody else is doing. Compliment them, learn from them, but let what they do make you better at what you're supposed to do. Everybody was created for something. You've got to find your fit. What makes you happy? What makes you excited about waking up in the morning? The moment you lose the zeal to wake up is the moment that you compromise your purpose. Your purpose should be on you to such a degree that when you wake up in the morning, you're trying to find ways to ignite it and make it better. Your purpose is what you were born for. You were not born to be married. You were not born to work. You were born to fulfill an assignment, and the days that you have been given to complete your assignment. When you waste those days, you abort the purpose of your call. Your purpose will choose your friends. Your purpose will tell you what you need to do. Your purpose will tell you what you need to read. Your purpose will tell you what you need to study. Your purpose will lead you to the one you're supposed to love. So many people are frustrated in marriage and relationships because they done hooked up with somebody and they don't fit. Listen, I met a girl and I found out she was a Buddhist. No, we can't roll, baby. We can't. You fine and you cute. No. We gotta have the same God. Now, our approach and our understanding may differ based on our environment and how we were raised and the level of understanding that we've attained. You know, all of us are growing, and I can get that. But we can't even call him the same name. You believe Buddha, or whatever. You believe he got... No, we ain't... No, we can't be friends. Well, I don't be friends with... Not intimately. Because when I go to talk about the desires, the feelings, and the convictions of my heart, they are bent towards Elohim. That's my Yahweh. Not Ben Yahweh, not him. Yahweh, God. YWH, the A and the E was added from Adam and Eve to give us an opportunity to be able to say his name. But believe it or not, the Jews don't even call his name. They have so much reverence. They won't even call his name. So I have to, my purpose partners me with those in proximity to what I'm called to do. There's a liking. There's a level of relatability. Relate. What makes relationships work? Relationships. Relatability. Relate. If you're in a relationship and you can't relate to each other, y'all don't have problems. You spend your days frustrated, irritated, agitated, you will lack motivation because the one you with gets on your nerve. It's like everything they do piss you off. How they turn on the dryer, how they close the dryer door. They can cook and it don't smell right. It don't taste. You're not going to be satisfied with anything that they do because the core of you, the heart of you, the true part of you is not in harmony with who they are because purpose didn't lead you there. You got there because they got a big ego. Or they know how to eat the peach. So what got you there was the wrong thing. And if the right thing doesn't get you there, no matter what you do to try and make it work, you're going to always be irritated. And you'll get to the point where you beg for peace so hard that being without them is greater than being with them because you're able to recapture the peace that you had when you were whole within yourself. So your purpose should lead you with who your friends are. Listen, my friends, they're tears of, I put them jokers on tears because everybody don't believe like I believe and they're not willing to go beyond where they are. Some people are set with where they are. They're happy with where they are. And if you try to push them, if you try to push them further, you will exhaust your strength and the strength that you need to push your own purpose, you won't have because you've been carrying dead weight. So your purpose should be the entry point to who your friends are and who you love. When it comes down to the one for you, that one for you is going to be in harmony with the purpose that's on your life. They ain't going to envy you and be jealous of you. No, something in them is going to be attracted to what you do. They're going to be in your lane somewhere. They're going to be the missing piece to help you become greater and help you fulfill the assignment that is on your life. Y'all got to stop. We've got to, you can't be pursuing people because of the physicality. We pursue people, men pursue women because we think they fine, we think they pretty, and our lust get the best of us because we think that their motion in the bedroom and their activity and they know how to ride the horse. So now you're infatuated because you sampled something that maybe you should not have had. So you become one with what they do, not who they are. So the commonality or the relatability is in the bedroom. But brother, what you gonna do when your mountain stop climbing? What you gonna do when your water hose don't stand up? What? What you gonna do? What you gonna do when your muscle stop standing and your soldiers stop marching? What do you have? If that's all you had, and that was the premise that got you guys together, when you can't perform, she gonna find somebody else who can stand strong. Girl, if the premise of y'all getting together was because you were able to get moist, then when your well runs dry, he gonna find some other river to swim in. Come on, church. I wish I had prayer in church tonight. No, what's got to bring you together? It's got to go beyond the physicality. It has to be connected more to the supernatural, to the part of you that you don't even understand. Real love cannot be explained. The moment you begin to explain what love is, you're really explaining what love does. Wes, you need to know what it means to ride that horse. Have you ever had a woman crawl on top of you? If you want to ride the black. You ever? Okay, that's what that means. Don't ask me no questions you don't want to answer to. So there has to be something beyond the physicality that holds you there. So even when the physicality is not brought into the witness room, the bond is still so great. Here's another thing. There has to be more than the physical, because you're going to see something better too. Oh, yeah, you are. What's going to hold you with the one you have? If it's physical and it's strictly based on that, you're going to chase somebody else. Because they ain't the only one got a pole, and they ain't the only one got a pearl. Pearls and poles. That's what I need to talk. I need to talk about pearls and poles. Men have Jolly Ranchers and girls have rivers. And if you chase, ladies, you chase the man because it's Jolly Rancher, what you gonna do when it turn into a Tootsie Roll? It don't Tootsie Roll. All right. So there has to be something there that moves you beyond just being fulfilled or just pleasure. You got to have more than that. It should be purpose. Now, when purpose is being fulfilled, you will be filled with pleasure. Talking good, Rep. Pick it! Pick it! Thank you, Doc. I'm trying. You've got to, man, fellas, and I'm not saying that you should dismiss, because there are two sides of us that run two separate levels of attraction. Now, I got to like what I see, because I don't want to wake up to no monkey. I'm not going to marry no monkey. I don't want to marry no silverback gorilla. You big as me, you take up the whole bed and head a little. Now, for some men, you know, that may work, that don't work for me. I don't want no silverback in my bed. I want to be able to roll over and say, good morning, Lord. Instead of Lord, it's morning. Lord, what did I do? Who? So the physical may get your attention, but what's internal should keep your heart. And there's a balance between the two. You can't, ladies, you can't be all fine, better than wine, and then you get married and you look like Angel Mama, or you look like Big Shirley on What's Happening. That ain't how he met you. Now, if he met you and you was looking like Big Shirley with that pick in the back of your fro, and that's what he liked, so be it. But if he met you and you were, oh Lord, you were fine, and you're fine and turn into a big wheel, then you got to do some things to work that thing off and get a man what he like. The men are visual, they're visually stimulated. I know women are generally speaking, more driven by the psychological process of thought. A woman loves a man who can stimulate her mentality, who can stimulate her psychologically. Can the Negro keep a conversation? Can he talk without splitting a verb? Does he understand prepositional phrases? Does he understand the English language? Or is he an enemy of the English language? I mean, some brothers talk as if God is against them and sentences. Subject verb agreement. They have no knowledge. Will split a verb. And that's you? Hey, ma. Negro, that ain't none of your mama. Be able to hold her attention in conversation. Be able, you want her, you're running out there, stay out of her inbox. If you're not intellectually astute to be able to handle the woman that she is, stay out of her inbox. Boy, Be able to meet her where she is and be able to take her who she is, who she's created to be, and complement her purpose. You can't complement her purpose. You shouldn't be wasting her time. Yeah. Can I get a witness? Make her laugh. Make her laugh. A woman likes to laugh. She does. She's acting serious with you and she's not giving you anything because she's trying to see where you're from, what you're about, and what your intentions are. Get a guard down by being you. Don't all of a sudden become who you think she wants you to be. You can't fulfill that obligation because you don't completely know. I'm going to give you all something. I'm going to give you something good. A woman really doesn't know who she wants, but she does know who she don't want. A man don't really know. We're human. There are some things that we share alike, but we know what we don't want. And what we don't want will lead us to what we need. We need someone in our life that complements our purpose. Now, you like to sleep with the lights on, the TV up, and the music playing, and that man like peace and quiet. There's going to be war in the house. And these are things that you have to talk about. These are things that you have to lay on the table. But I really believe with all my heart, what should bring you together, after the attraction is there, that should be a magnet of purpose. I want to help you fulfill yours, and what you have in you helps me fulfill mine. Where there is purpose, there's excitement. And where there's excitement, there's happiness, there's peace. Your peace, your happiness, your joy, all of that is embedded inside your purpose. Your inability to be able to fulfill what you were created for will give you misery. Misery is birth through the unfulfilling of natural desires. I don't know where this is coming from, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Brother, you married and you can't get your Monster up. You can't get your little Jolly Rancher up. Boy, they got medicines for you. Go to the doctor. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. You don't want to open the door for Johnny or Jody. Johnny come through the front. Jody come through the back. Listen, go to that doctor. They got medications. They got stuff you can take that will cause you to rise again. You'll rise again. On the third day, you'll get up. But you got to take that medicine, man. You can't allow your ego to ruin your opportunity to become better and be sufficient for every area of her life as it relates to what she needs. She needs you. Read a book, sir. Read a book. Feed your mind. Reading is to the mind what exercise is to the body. Brothers, y'all can't expect these women to be everything. You don't want them to have no stretch marks. You don't want them to have no fat. You want them to be perfect. But you look like a bag of potatoes. You look like a bag of nickels. You shape like a bean bag. You got dimples everywhere. But you want her to be perfect. Be realistic. Are you perfect? You're missing teeth, boy. And you want her to have all hers? Don't expect anything with her that you aren't willing and ready to contribute and show and give. Don't be unfair. Don't do it. Stop putting all these pressure on women to be supernatural. They are human. They have kids. Their body's going to be stretched. They're going to have stretch marks. Women, find you somebody that can embrace those stretch marks you have, kiss them, make love to them, and make you feel like they're not there. Stretch marks become beauty marks when you're in the right hand. Now, I know I said that right. Men, we want the women to accept us for everything that we are and we aren't. But we want to hold against them things that are natural. You live long enough, you're going to get a gut. You are. You might be big. You might be big bone, whatever. There's somebody that will love you for who you are. Stop fooling around with these old super natural jokers that want something that the magazine, something that the culture has told you you're supposed to have. Forget the culture. We don't live by this culture. This culture hates you. Appreciate her flaws. Speak into her purpose. And it will give you the strength, and she'll rock with you until the end. And I don't care what comes, what goes. She'll be right there. But purpose has to bring you together. Now, I'm gonna say this last thing. It's gonna sound kind of harsh. I'm gonna say this to the ladies and the gentlemen. Don't hook up with nobody that's not taking care of their body. Let me tell you the principle behind violating your own body. You don't have to be perfectly in shape, but you have to be in shape with a perfect understanding. You have to know what your body can take, what it can't take. Don't nobody want to marry somebody in 2 years, you have a stroke and I got to wheel you around because you knew you had high blood pressure and you ate the stuff that you shouldn't have eaten, but because you didn't have discipline to your tongue, now I've got to change my life to help you live yours. You're not going to handicap me. There needs to be a level of discipline when it comes to diet when you're talking about marrying somebody. Yeah, what type of person are you is important. Who you are intellectually is important. Your philosophy, your views, your ideologies in life, about those are important. God, faith, all those things are important. But Negro, I need to know how you eat. Because, we at that age now where it starts to count. Now, I'm 29. I'm not there, but you know what I'm saying. All of the foods and stuff that you've eaten have conditioned your body to be where it is, and it determines how you look. Well, I don't want to be wheeling nobody in 2 years because you done had a stroke, because you didn't have the discipline to diet. There's a scripture in the Bible that says if you're given to gluttony, you need to put a knife to your throat. If you're given to gluttony, if you don't have any discipline over your tongue and what you eat, and you just got to eat everything you think about, and you done stretch the Lord's temple, body's the temple of the Lord, you done stretch that temple. You done stretch that temple out of proportion. It don't look like a temple no more. It looks like a gymnasium. You ain't got no temple. You got a gym. And I was talking to A-Train yesterday, and that boy turned sideways. He turned sideways. He looks normal everywhere else, but when he turned sideways, the thing that sat up under his chest looked like a church van. You don't listen, you got to find somebody who cares about their body enough, they have enough self-awareness to know what they should stay away from, and they're doing it, and they're practicing discipline even in their eating habits. Y'all have any questions? Any questions? Any statements? I'd love to. Thank y'all for jumping on tonight. I just kind of wanted to share my heart. So we talked about tonight, while you're typing your questions, because I know there's a delay, harmony, purpose, love, and the one for you. You can't find anyone to love you if you don't love yourself. You've got to stop putting yourself on the altar of sacrifice, trying to catch someone. And what you've got to do is sacrifice for your purpose. And it's in walking in your purpose that you become attracted to the one that's supposed to have you. Hope Jordan, you eating cookies and milk. I hate to do this to you, Hope, but milk creates mucus. The mucus that is in our body is a result of dairy products. That's milk, cheese, anything that has dairy products in it. Did you not know that a calf stops drinking its mother's milk, I think, at 2 months, but we do it the rest of our life? So that mucus that is formed in our body, now it's processed in our body, it spreads throughout the body, and it literally becomes the magnet for sickness and disease. When a woman's menstrual cycle is off, diabetes, high blood pressure, all that stuff it's mucus based. You need to get the mucus out of your body. You need to get your colon cleansed. Clean yourself on the inside out. Some of y'all, your breath smell the way that it does is because all that trash is in your colon. And then you want to talk to me and get mad when I scringe. Your breath smell like feet, Fritos, and frogs. I shouldn't be penalized for the stuff that you've eaten in your life. Some of y'all need to take a laxative. You need to clean yourself. Detox. Your skin got all them rocks and bumps and stuff on it because you got that poison inside of you and it's been there, so it's fighting to get out. Get me out of here. You know, you take your clothes off and it smell like a swamp. Something wrong. You smell like you're scaly fish. Something wrong. You got to take care of your insides. You can't eat everything, people. You can't. Flush yourself. Your urine is gold. You sick. God forbid if it's green. And slime coming off. You need to go get checked. You got something, okay? Anyway, thanks you all so much for tuning in tonight. I've had fun. I said, did you have any questions or statements? And it's obvious that you didn't. And if you did, you didn't type it. Marie Height Pleasant say, that is why I'm single. Why? Why are you single, Marie? Leslie Davis says, God bless you for giving it in realness and making it plain. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Y'all need to go back to doing what they used to do in the old day. You know, in the old day, before you could get married, they make you take a blood test. Yeah, because they didn't want nothing in you to get in your spouse. But that blood didn't come back right. And some of y'all, you out here acting like John Gray and spreading your little community penis everywhere, sleeping in all these different beds. You got community underwear. You have no discipline over your lower nature. And then you want to hook up with somebody that's wholesome. No, you a thought. You're a thought. You don't need nobody. Thoughts deserve thoughts. Clean yourself up. Go get a blood test. Make sure you ain't got no slime coming. She said, tired of lying men. There's some lying women out there too. Don't let them fool you. So we got to do better if we want better. There needs to be a clarity of thought. So let's do a review real quick before I sign off. There needs to be head and heart harmony. When we come one with ourselves, when we have self-awareness and we understand who we are, and we're not intimidated because we've identified who we are, we move to a place of wholeness, and it's in wholeness, it's in being whole that you're able to concentrate on the things that God has deposited in you and grafted in you to fulfill your purpose. So when you get to purpose, as you fulfill your purpose, as you fulfill what you were created to do, it's in the lane of purpose that makes you attractive to those that are in your path. Purpose should attract your friends. Purpose should attract your lover. Purpose should attract the one that God has that you're going to spend the rest of your life and do life. It should be your purpose, not your pants. Oh, come on, Pickett, tell the people. Because he got a big ego, got a big bulge in his pants. He can have a big sack in his Jolly Rancher. Be the size of a Jolly Rancher. That don't mean it's gonna be fulfilled. So just because she can wear a pair of jeans and she fine and she got hips and she can walk and she classy and she look good, that don't mean she's right for you. You've got to allow your purpose to attract the person that you're supposed to be with. It's when their purpose meets you while you're in purpose. When purpose collides, it presents power, and it's out of that power that love is nurtured. And that love will lead you to the right one. All right? Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. It's late. My sleeping is off. You know, I'm normally in the bed 8:30, 9 o'clock, but for the last 2 weeks, man, last night I was up to about 3 in the morning. Night before, about 4. It's off, so that's why I jumped on tonight. Let purpose lead you, not your lust. What you gonna do when the well run dry, bruh? If purpose is the glue and the magnet for what makes us relatable, that purpose is going to put you in pursuit of his promise, and you won't be distracted by side pieces. Ladies and brothers, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. If you really want to know who you should date, who you should allow to pursue you, ladies, brothers, who you should pursue, look at what they're doing with their purpose. If they're not doing anything in purpose, chances are they're not going to be able to do anything with you. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for giving me your ear. Without your ear, I don't have a voice. You make this possible. So thank you so much. Remember, you were born to win, predestined to succeed. There's nothing that can happen to you that the wisdom on the inside of you is not equipped to handle. You got to calm down, slow down, be quiet, know when to speak, use emotional intelligence, trust God, activate your faith, and let wisdom speak. When wisdom speak, you will always win. Y'all have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. Love you guys. Remember to think higher. Speak life. Peace.